Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Oscar Buzz episode 23. The last episode came out not that long ago because computers were rough this week. So we're gonna have 2 episodes in quick succession. So today we have the PGA Awards.
Yes,
This is a big thing,
indeed.
and neither of us have seen them yet. So we are going to be giving our live reaction as part of the show. I mean, I'm Trevor. Got Thomas with me.
Yeah, you know who we are at this point.
I think we're. I just want to get right into the PGA Awards.
Yeah, I mean, when you say the PGA Awards, it's really only the one award that we presume Encanto's going to win. We presume Summer of Soul is going to win. They're pretty much locked. It's just Coda. If Coda beats Power of a Dog, that's the interesting one. That is the interesting one.
It really, really is. We can touch on it briefly before we go into PGA. The Cinema Audio Society Awards happened. I did look at those. Dune won, so it won both sound guilds. So it's not that constant. It's just happening. It's irrelevant at that point. Dune's winning sounds. But yeah, okay. Let's look at PGA. Documentary went to Summer of Soul.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Cool. Wow.
Animated. Yep, they did go with Encanto.
There we go.
So now Encanto has PGA, Globe, and BAFTA, and Mitchell's has Annie and Critics' Choice. So definitely leaning Encanto.
Yeah.
I'd say Mitchell's is the clear second, and I think there's a possibility for an upset, but it's most likely
there is a possibility, but equally, people were discussing the possibility of Klaus upsetting Toy Story 4 back in 2019. Yeah. It just didn't happen. They went with a more obvious choice. So I don't see why that wouldn't happen here as well. I think Encanto is a fairly solid lock in this category.
All right, Best Picture.
It's Coda, isn't it? Is it Coda?
They did Coda.
Coda. Wow. Oh, that's not good for predicting. Wow. Coda. Okay.
And this was preferential ballot. This is the first time that we've had preferential ballot. No other awards group does preferential ballot except for PGA.
And it definitely favors Coda because, people might put Power of a Dog 9, 10 if they didn't like the film. They're equally likely to put it 1 or 2. But Coda, I don't see it being anyone's lower than 5. So, preferential ballot, it may lean in favor of Coda. And, maybe we could end up seeing screenplay go to Power of a Dog and picture go to Coda as the reverse of what we're expecting.
With just support,
I don't know.
It could,
or maybe screenplay and supporting both go to Coda.
Is Coda gonna go 3 for 3?
It could.
Also, is SAG just gonna predict everything? Because I think they have the 4 acting categories, and then their ensembles their Best Picture.
Yes, that would
SAG might go for 5.
Yeah, they might. I don't know. Text does hurt it though for Coda. Having not a single nomination in the tech categories, whereas Power of a Dog has a lot, more than we expected. Power of a Dog was clearly a hit with Oscar voters because it overperformed what we were thinking for it, and we were already thinking big things for it.
Here's the thing, though: Best Picture is the only category that goes preferential ballot. So, even if people weren't loving Coda everywhere, if everybody agrees that Coda was good and Power of the Dog is mixed for picture, then that gets okay. Yeah. I mean, we have a race this. It might also just be Little Miss Sunshine, because it was Little Miss Sunshine versus The Departed. I'd seen this comparison before, and this even falls more in line. Little Miss Sunshine won SAG Ensemble, and it won PGA. It missed key nominations in director and editing. It was going up against The Departed, which I believe won everywhere else.
Yeah.
And that Departed was always a lock to win director, and Departed was the bigger critical hit. Little Miss Sunshine was a Sundance darling. And I think it won screenplay and supporting like prize.
It could have
but it lost picture. But like I feel like there was much more of a narrative behind The Departed comparatively to The Power of the Dog as far as giving Scorsese
that is true.
Scorsese film picture.
Yeah, like I feel like I am in the minority when I say Departed is one of Scorsese's best, because like a lot of people do agree that that was the film that they were just giving to Scorsese in general rather than the film itself. I disagree with that. I do think The Departed is a great film, one of his best, but equally that was the narrative behind it, and that is why it won. Power of the Dog doesn't have as great a narrative, but I don't know. I will still be predicting it. I will still be predicting it. This makes it a race, makes it an interesting discussion, but equally,
Yeah, I think I'm
like
still going.
it's one everywhere. It's one everywhere. Power of the Dog, except now PGA and I guess SAG Ensemble as well.
Which is PGA is the highest correlator for picture.
It is.
I think it's the most important because of the preferential voting system.
Could we see a world in which Power of the Dog walk away with only director?
I think so.
Because Cody is not winning, Cumberbatch is not winning. You know, we've mentioned this upset in at least one of the tech categories. That would also be an upset, though. That could not happen. That could just not be a thing.
Especially if it's not winning picture. Like my argument for editing was if it's winning picture, editing will go along with it. But if Power of the Dog's not winning picture, then editing isn't going to come along just because, like.
Could we see a world in which Cruella wins the same amount of Oscars as Power of the Dog? Yeah. That could happen. That could happen.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Isaac Amy Faye might win more Oscars than The Power of the Dog.
It might. Yes, it might. Yeah, that is weird.
Is Power of the Dog actually only going to win one?
As I say, I would still be very hesitant to predict it not winning Best Picture. I'm still going to have it as Best Picture come Oscar evening, but I wouldn't bet on it. I wouldn't put money on it. Put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, we have a race, which is nice. Like last year, we didn't actually have a race for Best Picture.
No.
This year we have a race. I mean, we're finally going to have a streaming service film win. That's for sure.
That is true.
It'll also be back-to-back female director wins, or Best Picture wins directed by women, which has never happened. Like, I don't know, Coda's either going to be Little Miss Sunshine and get SAG Ensemble PGA, but fall because it didn't get director editing, or it's going to be Grand Hotel in 1932 and win Best Picture without director and editing, which is the only time that's ever happened.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I do think, though,
Coda is the film that would break those stats, though, just because of how loved it is.
It is. I do, however, think that if it comes to it and screenplay does go to Power of the Dog, no way I would predict. Like, it feels like they would, if Coda is going to win Best Picture, it needs to also win screenplay. Like,
agreed.
Like I mentioned that they're going to do the inverse of Power of the Dog winning screenplay, Coda winning picture. That is not going to happen. That's a possibility, but I don't think that will happen. I think either it'll be Coda winning screenplay, Power of the Dog winning picture, or Coda winning both. So in which case I'm implying Power of the Dog doesn't win screenplay. No, Power of the Dog could win screenplay as well.
Yeah.
That could be the third possibility.
It's either like I think either
it's either both win or like both win both or Coda Power of the Dog.
Coda
picture.
Yeah. No, I think Coda needs screenplay to get picture. I think that like I think that Coda can win screenplay and Power of the Dog can still take picture. But I
I did it the other way around. No, I'm confusing myself with my own logic here. Yeah, both win both, or Power of the Dog wins picture, Coda wins screenplay.
Yes,
those are the possibilities.
Coda isn't going to win picture without screenplay.
No.
Like, yeah. I mean, honestly, like, I mean, we're going to be watching the Oscars together live.
Yeah.
Whenever screenplay happens is when we'll probably know who's winning picture. Like, I would say if
Probably.
Coda, I would say if Coda wins screenplay, I'll be expecting it to take picture, but Power of the Dog still has a shot.
Yeah.
But we know Power of
Yeah,
the
I don't
Dog.
know if we know. If Power of a Dog wins screenplay, then we know picture. If
Yeah.
Coda wins screenplay, it's going to be very interesting because I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, those were something.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I guess it makes a change from just saying, yeah, Power of a Dog wins. Cool. So that is nice. That is nice.
So yeah, I would say animated feels more locked now, but I would say we still have 5 categories that I'm unsure about: editing, cinematography, um, original, adapted, and picture. And then I'd say
Yeah.
animated is probably the 6th most uncertain.
Yeah, but even
Um,
so, I do think, as I say,
it's
animated
pretty
is
strongly in Kanto,
it's pretty strong. So yeah, those are the 5. Yeah.
which 5 pretty big categories. I mean,
Yeah.
and we do so. We will have ASC and WGA later today. WGA, I mean, we're expecting Licorice Pizza and Coda. If something
Yeah.
other than that happens, it'll be weird. But we're expecting those 2. And then ASC will tell us who's the front runner, if it's Dune or Power of the Dog, because so far they've split.
Mm.
So, I mean, and BAFTA got it wrong last year. They went Nomadland.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, as did Critics' Choice, so I believe also went Nomadland, and it was the ASC choice. ASC's been the most important in cinematography for the past couple of years. So, we'll see what ASC does. I might record something this evening, depending on what happen. Like when those happen. Like PGA didn't like get, and I was actually going to look at them, but then it was like 1 a.m. in the morning, and they still hadn't announced any of the film categories. So it's like,
Okay.
no.
Right.
So it depends on how late that goes, but I might record something talking about those because that'll be big. I mean, especially if something other than Licorice Pizza or Coda wins WGA. Like,
Yes. If like the Lost Daughter ends up winning, or is the Lost Daughter even nominated?
it is
Because
not.
I know there were a lot of because
It's
there were
not.
a lot of exceptions. So yeah, it
Yeah.
should be Coda
Nor is like Drive
and
My
Licorice
Car.
Pizza.
Like, yeah.
No. Okay.
And then original. The only thing that I could see happening in original is Don't Look Up.
Yeah. But even so, as we said before, I think it's a 2-horse race between Belfast and Licorice
I
Pizza.
agree. I'm just
Yeah.
saying something weird
Maybe,
could
maybe
happen
something could happen. Like they
because
went for 8th grade
they
back when
did
that was, and that was very nice. Like cool.
incredibly deserving.
Yeah, exactly. But equally odd.
See you at
So
the Oscars, losers.
yes,
Yeah, still my favorite acceptance speech of all time. But yeah, no, I mean, because we have Belfast with Golden Globe and Critics' Choice, and Licorice Pizza only has BAFTA.
yeah,
So Licorice Pizza takes WGA, and it's level.
yeah. There's 2-2, and
Um,
another interesting conversation to be had there on Oscar evening because there's no real problem with that. There's no indicators on the evening itself. So what are you gonna do? You're just
yeah,
gonna have to go with gut feeling, I guess.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they're both nominated for director.
Yeah,
Like you can't go off
they're
of
both
that. I
nominated
mean,
for picture. They're
yeah,
yeah. So I don't know.
yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, that's definitely a way for us to kick off the show.
Yes.
Um, let's talk about South by Southwest.
Okay.
So the winning film there was I Love My Dad. And it's a hopelessly estranged father catfishes his son in an attempt to reconnect, and it's a Patton Oswalt project. To
Okay.
start. I mean, listen, it's not going to be anything. It's a letterbox is a 3.6. This isn't blowing
Right.
anybody away.
No.
But we can talk about like South by Southwest. Not usually the strongest bearing on anything, but we do get some fun. Like for instance, Shiv Baby premiered there. The Fallout premiered there. We've had some fun indie films premiere there. For instance, X, the new A24 film, which just came out in theaters. Very good reviews, 3.8 on Letterboxd. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Thomas, would you like to know its Letterbox score? A
I would. Yes.
4.4.
4 point. That is high.
Yeah.
That is high.
Rotten Tomatoes is like at a 98.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's even like not many films get 4.4 on Letterboxd.
oh
That is
no,
that is quite big.
a 4.0 is rough to get. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is insanely strong. Like, I mean, if it had, it's like so far only about 1,000 people have rated it, but like,
Well,
I
yeah.
mean, once it gets like, I think you need 5,000 to qualify for like Letterboxd like top 250, and this would definitely like be a part of that. I think it's
Yeah.
the highest rated film of 2022 so far on Letterboxd. Um, so like, obviously not Oscars.
No, no. I mean, it's
Indie
A24,
Spirits,
and A24 is sadly rarely Oscars.
yeah, yeah. Did what nominations did A24 get this year?
This
I,
year,
I mean, they got Macbeth
um,
for actor and cinematography.
yeah, was
What
that
else did they
it?
do?
I feel like that might be it.
Was
A24.
that all? That can't be
It
it.
could well have been.
Because
Oh
like Red
no!
Rocket,
Come on! Didn't get anything. The Humans as well was another one that was meant to
yeah,
do all right, but then obviously that got not very well. That had a whole controversy based around it.
great film,
So no,
but
it
yeah,
would. The Green Knight didn't get anything. So
rough
no,
year for
it
A24.
was it was just
Like,
Tragedy of Macbeth.
because last year they had Minari, um, and I feel like they had something else big last year as well. But yeah, um, so everything everywhere all at once could definitely see it as an indie spirit thing.
Yeah.
100%. And I'm just very excited to see that. That's next week. So,
Mm.
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, so far is at 100 on Rotten Tomatoes, but very few people have seen it. It doesn't have a letterbox rating yet.
Okay.
So take that with a grain of salt. Master, which premiered at Sundance, is also now out on Amazon. Go 3.1. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. So remember we talked about this. The Amanda Stenberg, Rachel Sennott, Maria Bakalova, Pete Davidson thing.
Mm.
Horror film. It's at a 3.8 on Letterboxd. So
Okay. That's fairly
pretty
strong.
strong.
That is pretty
Pretty
strong.
strong. Like you know, love Rachel Sennott, Shiva baby. So yeah, very happy to see this. I mean, I'm like again that leading three, Sennott, Bakalova, and Stenberg, just all phenomenal.
Mm.
Three actresses I really like, young actresses who I think could have a pretty good future in film.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Obviously, again, not that going to be that big of an awards player. It's a like riff on kind of like Scream and like Paranoia, like slasher
Yeah. Yeah.
horror, but like A24 again, just cranking out like horror that everybody's really like X is at like a 97 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
So yeah, The Lost City is at a 3.3 on Letterboxd. So
I mean, it's higher than I expected it to be. So
yeah,
there's that.
yeah. I mean, yeah. The top review is Where is Dwayne Johnson? Fair. Um, like this is better than I expected. We'll probably be talking about it next week.
Well, you will. Doesn't release it
Oh
yet.
yeah, it doesn't get
Because
announced yet.
remember that I get Ambulance instead. The new
Oh
Michael
yeah,
Bay
you're so
film.
lucky you get Ambulance, and I don't get
Yeah.
that for a month.
No, and I didn't get Lost City for a month, so they did a little switch in the schedule.
Apollo 10 and a half, 3.7 on Letterboxd, and 92 on Rotten Tomatoes, and 83 on Metacritic.
Yeah,
Pretty strong all around.
that is pretty strong all around. When's that releasing?
April, early April.
Okay,
And it's in
cool.
like a couple. It's in 2 weeks, I want to say.
Right.
So
Yeah, so you shouldn't have to wait too long for that one then.
no. And then there's just a couple of other Sundance things: Watcher, Emergency, Fire of Love. Fire of Love again. Still predicting it for documentary. Still's at a 4.0 on
Okay.
Letterboxd. And
Well,
that's definitely more people. Like 2,000 people have seen that. So a bit more um, people on that one. It's National Geographic. They got snubbed this year, but like I still think it could be pretty strong. So yeah, lots of stuff to look forward to coming out of South by Southwest. Which film are you most excited for that we're talking about with South by Southwest to see? Oh, also Cha Cha
I
Girls
mean,
was here
yeah,
as well.
but I'd be lying if I said it wasn't The Unbearable Weight of Massive
Yeah,
Talent, because honestly, that concept just looks incredible.
it does.
Incredible.
It does. It does. For me, bodies, bodies, bodies.
Yeah,
I
fair
mean,
enough. That one is another one. Yeah, there's a lot of films I'm really looking forward to, but equally, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, just
yeah,
based on what that movie promises.
yeah. Do you get Everything Everywhere All at Once next week?
Maybe. I'm going to go
Okay,
with maybe.
solid
I
maybe.
feel like
Nice.
I might. Yes.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see.
If so, excited to talk about that. I mean, I'll still probably talk about it.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, let's talk about more film festivals
Okay.
because we got 3 films announced for Cannes Film Festival. We're gonna see more and more of these announcements. This is exciting. We get to see the first look at the films competing for the Palme d'Or.
Hmm?
Looking forward to it. Only one of the films that were announced are actually competing for the Palme d'Or. 2 of them are competing out of competition. But Elvis is showing up there. I did predict this
Yeah.
because Rocket Man did it, and this is, I guess, this year's Rocket Man.
Maybe. Maybe. We'll see.
Like, it just, I don't know, kind of made sense. But yeah, so Elvis is going to be the opening film, actually, of Cannes Film
Wow.
Festival.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know, like, people are putting faith in this. Like, Warner Brothers is signing Austin Butler to Dune 2. They're, like, extending, like, a contract with him. Cannes is putting this at their opening film.
Yeah. Maybe
I
if people
mean,
can ignore Tom Hanks's accent, it could actually be a good film. It could be a good film. Like I have faith in it somewhat.
I don't, but
No, I know you don't.
I mean, I want it to be good,
I
but
mean, you don't want any film to be bad, like,
right,
but
right.
yeah.
But I also don't think it will be good. So,
There you go. You didn't think Don't Look Up would be good, and
yeah,
that's
it's funny, and a lot of people were very excited for it, aside from me, and then we kind of switched because I came away like actually liking the movie, and people who thought it was going to be good didn't like it. So,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
um, all right. Also premiering there, Top Gun Maverick,
I
which
heard
is
about this.
interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, this is one I have very little faith in because as someone who doesn't hold any nostalgia towards the first Top Gun, it's not a very good film. Like, it's just not really. Objectively speaking, it's not a very good film. And it is very much a movie of its era.
yeah,
And we're no longer in that era. We're quite far away from that era. So, therefore, I don't know why they're making a new one, but they are.
funny.
It's been, yeah, aside from money, obviously money. It's been like, I remember the first trailer was probably 2019, I imagine. The
Yeah, it
first
was.
trailer for this. Yeah, guys, and that is how the world, that is what the world is like at the moment.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think that this is an Oscars contender in a couple categories. Like, and also point taken and agreed with on the original Top Gun. I hold nostalgia toward that film, but yes, objectively, it is not good.
Yeah.
But it did get nominated for sound mixing, sound editing, and editing.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
this is getting nominated for editing unless it's like Ford v Ferrari. If this movie is like Ford v Ferrari, then maybe like I don't think like picture obviously, but like then
No.
it could get editing because sound and editing are highly correlated. But I'll probably be. I mean, I still have to work on some of my below the line picks for our early 2023 Oscars predictions. But this is definitely on just like my short list of films that I have in contention for sound. I think it's
Yeah. I mean,
definitely there.
my only worry is like The Matrix. That got Oscar nominations. The most recent attempt to try and bring it back into the fold failed. Like it didn't get anything. So these sort of legacy films, they don't necessarily do as well as you might expect them to do at the Oscars.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely still got nominations. Like, even if it didn't get the Oscar
Yeah,
nomination for visual effects, it was definitely still like there. It also was critically not very well received. So if Top
that
Gun
is
Maverick
true.
didn't
That
even
is true.
just get like a lukewarm reception, like a 60-ish on Rotten
Mm,
Tomatoes, or like somewhere between 50 and 60 on Metacritic,
mm.
to where people just like aren't like actively disliking the film. I could see it happening in sound. Like I said,
Maybe, maybe.
I still have to look at what else is happening. Like obviously, like Avatar 2 is going to be a strong contender.
Yeah,
There's plenty of very strong contenders, but I think it's on the list of early contenders for sound.
yeah,
And we're going to get pretty early reaction. I mean, we'll get to hear what people think in like 2 months. So,
yeah. That is good. That is good.
and then an in competition film, I believe we have George Miller's new film, 3,000 Years of Longing, starring Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton. Very excited for
Yes,
this.
yes.
Actually, just rewatched half of Mad Max Fury Road the other day, and I can confirm it is still quite good.
It is
Um,
still quite good.
like, yeah, I'm excited for this. I really like George Miller. I'm not as high on like the Mad Max franchise, even Fury Road. Like, I think it's very good. I don't think it's like great.
Mm,
But like, yeah, I'm excited for this. I mean, just Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, sure. Uh, do you think that this is a major Oscars player?
Um, it could be. It could be, but equally, this year is very stacked.
It
Like
is.
there is so much, especially from these like big name directors who've done stuff in the past. There's
Yeah,
just a lot of them. So you can't necessarily this year just point at a director go, they've made one before, therefore again again. You can't do that because there's just too many. You'd fill up the spots. I'd say maybe it could have something in the actors. Like I could see Tilda Swinton being in contention, maybe.
well, I was
Um,
thinking more
or
technicals for
Idris
her,
Elba or
potentially.
technicals as well
Yeah,
would those would be the two I'd say picture director those kind of things no like screenplay no but technicals and maybe some of the performances we'll see.
yeah. Like I have this in my like 20 to 30 range for picture.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean it's you've still got to talk about it but equally yeah.
yeah. I have Tilda Swinton on my short list for actress, but I have her quite low
Okay.
overall. But like, I mean, sure, like cinematography, editing, like, I mean, I think you'd be dumb to say that George Miller wasn't an incredibly competent director. So
Yeah.
we'll see. But yeah, like as you said, it's a very stacked year. Yeah, I'm excited to see what else we get here. Normally, I would say Wes Anderson's latest Asteroid City, but he has said that I think they're going fall festivals for that.
Okay.
Normally they'll go Cannes. And there's a couple of other ones that we're like kind of expecting to show up here, but we'll get more announcements. I'm sure we'll be talking about Ken for the next couple of months in the
Yeah.
build up to the festival because I mean, it's pretty big. Like
Yeah.
that's where Parasite premiered. That's where we'll see. I believe like Decision to Leave, which I have pretty high on a lot of my Oscars predictions.
Which
Um,
one's
from
that one?
from a Park Chan Wook premiered
Oh
at
yeah.
Berlin Film Festival. It's a very, very well loved director. It's like, I mean, he could have a Bong Joon Ho moment. Director who's like well loved. He's made a lot of stuff that a lot of people enjoy. Never hit with the Academy before, and this is his, like mid
Yeah.
career. Like people like in America discover him, and they're like, oh wow. So I'm pretty sure that will be going to Cannes. Um, I have it. I won't say if it's in or not, but I'm very strongly considering it for picture and director and screenplay. I think it could be this year's
I
big
mean
international film.
yeah it could be especially the foreign director pick that the
Yeah,
Oscars seem to like to do. It could be him. That could be a
yep,
thing that happens. Yeah, you definitely have to consider it.
for sure, for sure. But let's move on. So, Where the Crawdads Sing. It's a novel that a lot of people like. We got our first look at images from it, but I think that we can just say, like, kind of in general, how are we feeling about this film's chances? Because, like, I put it on my short list for picture, but I have it like I have them loosely ranked, and this is somewhere in the 60s. Like I don't think,
60s. Okay.
yeah, I've made a very long list.
Yeah.
But like I I don't know. I don't feel that strongly about this. I don't think it has the best release date either.
No, it is a poor release date,
Somewhere in the
especially
summer.
because it's like, yeah, it's not a summer blockbuster either. So
No, it's a
I don't know
quieter
why
film.
they're releasing it then. Yeah, it could get a bit buried. I don't know. I don't think it will do much, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, lots of films every year are made from books that are very popular, and they don't all get the attention. I don't think this will have that attention. I like. There's no real big actors in it. I don't believe.
No.
Um, so
I believe
you
Daisy
know,
Edgar Jones from Fresh is starring.
okay, yeah. So
I might be wrong
you
on
know,
that. So
no,
yeah.
I think yeah, but yeah, I don't think so. I don't think this has many Oscar chances.
No, I'm not feeling that good about it. Um okay, let's talk about Bradley Cooper's Maestro, which is another film that's going like this is such a strong year. His follow-up to A Star is Born. He's going to be starring, and Matt Bomer is in talks to star opposite him. Um this is another tough one where like how do we feel about Maestro? Like it's
Yeah,
going to be
I've got a gut feeling this one will do fairly decently. Actually,
okay.
I believe that Bradley Cooper will either be in for actor or director. I don't think he'll be in both. Like, but I feel
Okay.
like I feel like they will try and honor Bradley Cooper somewhere, especially because it was 2018. He was the snub, I believe, for the
Yeah, he
Cold
was a
War
big snub.
director. It was him who was snubbed out, so they may want to give him some justice there. Like, I mean, the last film Bradley Cooper directed was A Star Is Born. He's clearly a good director. He clearly knows what he's doing. You know
I
that got
mean, Star is Born
picture.
isn't that
It got a lot. It got a lot.
good,
So
but
well, yeah, he did enough to prove to the Oscars
yeah,
that he could direct a film.
awards liked him. I
Yes.
wouldn't call him a good director, but
Okay. Okay. Well, there you go. But equally, you know, he's in the club. I mean, he's been in the club for ages now,
yeah,
but
oh yeah,
he's properly well and truly in the club.
yep.
And you know, it's a biopic, so they're always good. My only fear is it could end up being Tick Tick Boom and just not get what it should get outside of like actor.
I don't know. I don't even have this in my top 25 for best actor for Bradley Cooper. I don't have him in
Really?
my top 25 for best director. I think that this movie is going to get lost and buried. Like I quite honestly
Okay.
do. I think that there's so much stuff that like I know I think that there will be a push, but like and I think maybe early on we'll talk about him. But like I feel like it's going to be like you know how like we thought that Bradley Cooper would get in for Nightmare Alley because they're like, "Oh, well Bradley Cooper because they'd want to, you know, the Academy really likes him." And like I know that this is different because he's directing this, but like
Yeah.
unless this is like great because again that's you know we don't know how good these movies are and like what their critical
No.
reception is talking about them right now, but like obviously all of these are the contingent like if Where the Crawdads Sing is like a masterpiece and it's like you know critically agreed as like one of the top 10 films of the year, then yeah
Yeah.
obviously we might be talking about it by the end of the year,
Yeah. There
but
could
like
well be a film that we just don't talk about because we don't know it exists, but it
yep
turns out to be incredible, and
yeah
that is a thing that might happen. But equally, yeah, this there's so many films in contention this year.
yeah
It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for any film.
yeah I'm just worried that this is going to get a bit lost
Yeah,
personally,
like I'd
so
say, Babylon, Killers of the Flower Moon, and those are the only two real.
Fablemans.
I mean, no, I'm talking like Fablemans could be received poorly. Like Spielberg has been received poorly in the past.
I think Babylon's more likely to be received poorly, quite honestly.
Really?
Yeah. Have
Okay.
you there's a draft of the script online and I've read like people's thoughts on it and I guess it's like it's very very wild.
Okay.
Giselle is like really really going for it.
Okay.
So
Maybe
like
it's just Killers of a Flower Moon then,
I
and
think
that is the only one.
I mean I think that like I feel good about Margot Robbie and actress for next year.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that like Babylon, like I could even see Babylon missing screenplay, all honesty.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think I'm not predicting it right now. You know, it's obviously a year out, but like I'm not predicting it too. But like I could see this movie kind of get turned on. I mean, like First Man, like it wasn't that well
No, it
taken
was
by
still in the conversation though.
it
It
was
was
still very much
still, despite the fact it wasn't taken very well, it still managed to be very in the conversation. I believe. Like
a missed
it was
picture.
a bit of a surprise when it wasn't in picture.
I think it was kind of expected that it wasn't going to be in picture. I think maybe like earlier in the year it would have
I
been
don't know.
not expected, but once we started
Yeah,
getting awards, like
yeah. I
I don't
think
know.
by the end it was maybe, but I don't
Like
know. We'll see. We'll see.
I think that the Fablemans is like maybe the strongest right now, just because it's Spielberg making an autobiographical film, and it's going to be like John Williams' last thing that he does because he's already done composing Indiana Jones 5, I believe. So this will be like his like
Yeah.
last score that he does before he retires. Like
Okay.
there's so many. It's like what it's Belfast. Like think about how strong Belfast was, and it's Kenneth Branagh. Now imagine it's
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg. Like
Yeah. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I
I
mean, we'll
think
talk about all of this in
yeah.
what it's only going to be 2 weeks now time at this point, maybe
Yeah.
3 weeks, depending on when we actually do this. But yeah, it's not too long away until we'll be talking fully in depth about all of this stuff.
In 2023, which I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to. All right. Well, we can talk about more stuff because Reese Ifans has joined Annette Bening and Jodie Foster in the Netflix biopic from the Oscar-winning team behind not Flea, Free Solo, and The Rescue. So yeah, this is about like the woman who like swam across the Caribbean, the sea from Florida to somewhere in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I guess this could be a thing. I don't like,
Maybe. I mean, yeah, this is like talk about Maestro getting lost in the shuffle. This
yeah,
one really feels like it would get lost. Like coming from Netflix. I don't exactly recall what Netflix has this year, but they'll have something. They will have something to be
yeah,
pushed over this.
yeah. I mean, it depends on what Netflix decides to latch onto, but like, if Netflix decides to latch onto you, you're pretty much in.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what did they latch onto this year? They latched onto the Power of the Dog.
yeah.
They got Power of the Dog in because
And
they
even
can.
to an extent, Donor Cup as well. They got that
Yep.
in.
Yeah. I mean, but like they can only do so much. Like if they decide not to latch onto you, like look at what happened to Passing.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
yeah,
or like Lost Daughter, they latched onto. Boom, Jesse Buckley in. So
yeah,
like Netflix can kind of pick what what they
yeah,
can get in. So you just kind of have if you're a Netflix film, you just kind of have to hope that Netflix goes
yeah,
with you because they have so much and they
yeah,
have the you know they have the luxury of choice.
yeah. And to even like hope that people watch you. Like, because Netflix will only be choosing the films that have higher viewing figures.
Yeah.
That is just simple as that. So if a
Yep.
film is well liked, watched on Netflix, that's a good combination.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So maybe
Maybe.
all about Recep school.
Yeah.
We got our first image of Oppenheimer. Did you see this?
I didn't, but I can find it in just a couple clips
Um,
with the power of the internet.
so it is like a press conference. I don't know, this looks pretty grounded. Um,
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I imagine it would be considering, like, it's
yeah,
Christopher Nolan. He chose to make like The Dark Knight grounded and all of that
yeah,
kind of stuff. He doesn't really make like even Tenet for a a premise as stupid as Tenet. He
yeah,
still was trying to make it grounded.
trying.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, exactly. Trying being the key word.
but yeah, I mean, we got the poster a little bit ago. We actually have a couple of posters now. Um, I mean, yeah, this looks cool. Like I'm here for it. Like it seems
Yeah.
to be a very gray color palette, but as long as he can pull that off, like I
Yeah.
feel like we're gonna be focusing primarily like I don't know. I could even see this being more performance driven. This might be like one of the more performance driven Nolan films,
It could be.
contrary to some of the others, which are more like spectacle and visual driven. So, I mean, I don't know. This isn't even. We aren't even talking about this one for the 2023 Oscars. We're talking about this for the
No.
2024 Oscars. So,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
long way ahead for Oppenheimer, but eventually we'll get there. Um, hopefully, we're still doing the show by then.
Hopefully. Yes.
All right. All right. This is kind of just fun. Andrew Garfield says he isn't nervous going into the Oscars because he checks Gold Derby and he knows that Will
Yeah.
Smith is winning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which
And that's all that needs to be said about that. Will Smith is winning. And there we go.
I just love that Andrew. Like that's. I love when people because I know Lady Gaga checks Gold Derby a lot, which is kind of funny because she was like #1 for the Oscar nom. Cool.
Yeah.
But but no, that's just I don't know. I found that to be fun.
Yeah. Do you think he'll prepare a acceptance speech? Like, just in case? Or do you think,
No.
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 Yeah.
I mean,
See, I would, though. Even if, like, I was the 5th spot, I'd still prepare an acceptance speech.
yeah. I mean, at the HCA Awards when he won, he was very drunk and said that he wanted to go get high, watch Barb and Star with Lin-Manuel Miranda, and told everybody in the room that he wanted to kiss them, and that was his acceptance speech. So like,
yeah, maybe that was all prepared though. Maybe he was just acting.
Maybe he is an actor, but no,
He is an
both
actor.
him and Kristen Stewart have been like at every single ceremony. Like they were both at the PGAs. They're at like the makeup and hair go. Like they were just going to everywhere, which is cool, and they deserve to win.
Yeah.
It won't happen. But which is sad. We had the Critics' Choice Super Awards. Hey, remember when we talked about this? Like,
barely. Yes, I do a bit. Yeah.
These are kind of meaningless, even though that the Critics' Choice Awards have already happened. But whatever, they're still kind of fun. Best action movie they gave to No Time to Die.
Okay.
Cool with that. I haven't seen these actually, so this is first reaction, scintillating content.
Yeah.
Best actor in an action movie, Daniel Craig, No Time to Die. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Makes sense.
Sure.
Actress in an action movie, Jodie Comer, The Last Duel. Still weird that that's an action movie, but I like that.
That is, but yeah, I do like that pick. She was definitely one of my favorite performances of the year, actually, probably.
Yeah. Best superhero movie, Spider-Man.
Hang on, wait. Oh yeah. Oh wow, that was a tricky category to predict. That one. Best superhero movie.
Actor in a superhero movie, Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man: No Way Home.
There you go. There you go.
Actress in a superhero movie, they went with Florence Pugh, Black Widow, which I like.
Okay.
I didn't think that the movie was that great, but Florence Pugh was good in it. Horror movie, A Quiet Place Part 2.
Yeah, pretty expected.
Actor in a horror movie, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Candyman.
Yeah.
I thought he was pretty good.
Like,
I didn't love the movie overall, but I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah, he was fine, I guess.
Actress in a horror movie, Agathe Roussel, a Titan.
There we go. Wow.
It means nothing, but I love it.
Yeah.
Sci-fi fantasy movie, Dune, obviously.
Yeah.
Actor in a sci-fi fantasy movie, Dev Patel, The Green Knight.
Cool.
Yeah,
I'm happy with that.
I like it. Actors in the sci-fi fantasy movie, Rebecca Ferguson, Dune. Okay.
Cool. One of the best actors in the movie. So yeah, sure.
Best villain, Willem Dafoe, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Which yes.
Yeah. I mean,
okay. Well, those were fun and meaningless, but they were fun.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to some questions.
Okay, questions.
Thomas, I have a question for you.
Okay, do you? Wow. It's almost like that's what this section is about.
What's going to win best editing?
Oh, well, you didn't could have made it an easier question. I don't know. Like what am I predicting at this moment? At this moment, I'm probably going to predict King Richard Do I have reasoning for that?
Okay.
I mean, it won that. What? Where did it win?
ACE.
ACE, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it won there. That's a good indicator. Secondly, the film is my favorite Best Picture nominee of the year, so there's that. And the Oscars obviously take into account my personal
Your
preferences
personal
there.
taste, yeah.
Yeah, they are taking into account that. Yeah, like I don't think it will happen for Power of a Dog anymore. Like I did at one point,
Yeah.
but equally I felt it needed to win something. It needed to win at least one editing
And again,
award.
if it's not winning picture, then I don't feel strongly about it
No.
winning picture, and
Yeah.
like or editing was contingent on that. So like, yeah, let's talk
Yeah.
about our options here, because
Yeah.
because Critics' Choice and BAFTA are useless to us because they went with West Side Story and No Time to Die.
Yeah.
So King Richard, it's weird because that didn't even get nominated at Critics' Choice or BAFTA. It didn't even
No.
make the BAFTA long list.
Yeah. Which is weird
So,
because that implies that it's a divisive film in terms of editing, which I don't think you could pick a less divisive film in
yeah,
terms of editing. Like if this was talking about Don't Look Up and Don't Look
yeah.
Up won ACE but didn't even get nominated at BAFTA or Critics' Choice, that would make sense. But the fact it's King Richard, that just feels weird.
So here's the reason why I don't think it's King Richard, because it didn't get a sound nomination. Like
That is true.
the last time a Best Editing winner didn't have a sound nomination, I believe, was The Departed in 2006. Going back to 2006 again.
Yeah.
2007 Oscars, 15 years ago. But yeah, so our sound nominee crossovers are Power of the Dog and Dune.
Yeah.
But
Which
like,
may just imply it's June. Like
right,
it
we're
may.
refusing. Like, Dune's been nominated everywhere, and like nobody's given it to Dune. Even at
That's
BAFTA,
the
where it
problem.
was the only Oscar nominee,
Yeah. They still didn't give it to June.
they still didn't give it to Dune. They went with No Time to Die. So like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I really don't know. If No Time to
Like the
Die was
problem
nominated for
is,
the Oscar, I might be predicting No Time to Die.
yeah. The problem is there's so many cons that you could just put against any film in this
Yeah,
category. And there aren't many pros. Like the only pro
like
you can find is the ACE, which goes to King Richard, but equally say King Richard didn't get sound, Don't Look Up. Its editing is way too divisive to win. Like
okay, well, so is Bohemian Rhapsodies. So is Bohemian Rhapsodies. Like,
I
don't
think
look up.
Don't Look Up is a different
Don't Look Up has the
people are
most editing.
hating. People are hating the Don't Look Up editing though.
People hate the Bohemian Rhapsody editing. That was like in like reviews of people who didn't like it, including myself. The biggest problem was like the editing, which I concur with. Like, I think that like it has the most editing, just like Bohemian Rhapsody, and it's like I don't know. The problem is that it doesn't have a sound nomination, and Bohemian Rhapsody won both sound awards. Like it won both. Like the winners for editing and sound have crossed over for the past 4 or 5 years, which again
Yeah.
implies that it's just Dune. Like
Yeah.
because if you look back, Sound of Metal, Ford v Ferrari, Bohemian Rhapsody, like I think the year before that as well. But like editing and sound, like they mean so much, and Dune is winning sound. So is it just winning? I don't know. I think I'm probably just gonna predict Dune. Like I don't know what else I can go with. Like Tick Tick Boom definitely isn't happening.
Yeah,
I think we
that's
can
another thing. It's not Tick Tick
rule that
Boom.
out. But
Yeah.
like out of the other four, it could be anything.
I really don't think it will be Don't Look Up. Like, what did Bohemian Rhapsody do well at editing elsewhere? Because, like, I feel like it probably would have done.
Oh no,
In
it did.
which case,
It did well
yeah.
at editing.
So that
But
was
like
more.
also, but nothing's doing well at editing.
That is another problem. See, there's just too many cons that you can put against every single one.
Like
I don't know. Maybe it is just June, but I'd like to go for something a bit different. I'd like to hope it's King Richard. And
yeah,
yeah.
hey, that's another thing that could upset a WGA. Imagine King Richard comes away with screenplay, editing, and actor.
That would be great. That would be, and then no, it's. I was just going to say maybe picture. It's not going to win picture. I will clarify that now.
No.
It would have a better package encoder in general, though, but it
Yeah.
wouldn't. It wouldn't win. It wouldn't win picture.
Yeah. Just Yeah, I mean, people talk about it's maybe Green Book, if it wins editing, but no.
Mm.
It would
No.
have needed Ingenue Ellis probably too,
Yeah. Yeah.
and again to upset in screenplay and win editing. So
And then even to like be winning like song as well. I'd say it would need that to add to the overall package.
it also would have been
Like
nice to
just as
win
an
one
extra
of
little
the
award.
precursors for picture.
Yeah, that
That
would
also
also
could have
that
been
would be
nice.
very nice. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, pictures
Because you
obviously
can't
would
have
have
everything. You can't have everything.
yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll have our final predictions, and again, on my like spreadsheet that I have of my Oscars predictions, this spot is left blank. I I I,
Okay.
I do not have it filled in right now. This is the
Okay.
argument that I've talked myself into in the past 5 minutes. Um, 5 minutes from now, I could say something completely different about editing. So
Yeah.
I really don't know what's happening with this category.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I mean, it really didn't help the denominations like across the board were so disorganized. Like
Yeah,
there hasn't really been a collective five. So like I don't know. June, I guess, is the only one that's really been pretty consistent across the board in getting in, but it hasn't won anywhere.
it
Like
hasn't won
people have
anywhere.
proven they didn't want it to win. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know.
yeah. Dune's the only one that got in. I mean, Licorice Pizza got in everywhere except the Oscar.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
problem.
so yeah, this is yeah, weird category. But
Yeah.
I have a second question for you, Thomas. So
Okay.
Oscars voting finishes, it wraps up on Tuesday. Okay. So if you, I think I know what this will be, but you get to tell the Academy, you get to, you have an inside look at the Academy, and you get to talk to voters and say you need to vote for this, and
Yeah.
this is why.
Yeah.
Who are you saying telling them to vote for?
Well, I wouldn't even tell them they need to vote for it. I'd buy them a DVD of Spencer. I'd make them put it on, and I'd just force it, like in a Clockwork Orange, I'd force their eyes open, and they'd come to their senses. It wouldn't need any persuading other than Kristen Stewart's performance in the movie. It would do all the talking it needs itself, and the voters would vote for Kristen Stewart. I would also have to erase the Twilight movies from existence, probably. That
Yeah,
would be another thing. I'd have to go round. I'd burn all the Twilight DVDs. But
because that's the
that's
way
a
that everybody
sacrifice.
watches them,
Yeah, yeah. I say DVDs, Blu-ray. Sure, I'll buy. Yeah,
or streaming.
um,
That
yeah, or streaming actually, or
you have to
streaming. Yeah,
delete digital
or
files and
yeah. That's
memories.
from. I'd also have to like remove their memories. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be a tricky one.
never just get
I
into
don't know.
Inception.
Yes, yeah. So a lot would need to be done. But yeah, basically, just vote Kristen Stewart, and that's
Yeah.
all I'd say. That's all we need to say.
Yeah, I'm pretty like-minded. Speaking of coming to your senses, mine would be Andrew Garfield. Tick Tick Boom. See, I did a reference to one of the songs. Come to your senses. Uh,
Very clever.
uh,
You slightly lost the credibility factor when you had to explain it, but
when I had to explain it, why make sure people understand it? Because
yeah,
but yeah, no,
yeah,
I would say Andrew Garfield. For Tick Tick Boom because I think that he gave the best performance by an actor this year
and I
by
would agree. I
far.
would definitely agree. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say by far. I would agree he's the best performance of the year.
Yeah.
And in an ideal world, Will Smith would have won in 2006 and he wouldn't need
Yeah.
this Oscar. But that didn't happen and he
Once
needs
again,
redemption.
talking about 2006.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
Uh,
Bit of a theme this episode.
it will be the title of the show, just 2006.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that Andrew Garfield's performance is just absolutely incredible. Like, I mean, he singed everybody. He singed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I grammared. So yeah,
Yes.
like he gives a phenomenal performance. His vocals are absolutely incredible. He fully encapsulated Jonathan Larson and like just the what it's like to be a struggling writer, and he put across so much emotion in his performance.
Yeah.
It worked really, really well as a biopic. I'm normally very against biopic performances, but I thought that this one was just absolutely phenomenal. And he also deserves an Oscar for
Yeah,
like
that is
his
true.
like just all of what he's done in his career. I mean, he's
Yeah.
going to get another chance. I would be shocked if Andrew Garfield died Oscarless.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes, that feels like it wouldn't happen. I mean, you say for his career, even just like this year, he deserves an Oscar for his just breadth of work.
yeah, Spider-Man, Tick Tick Boom, Tammy Faye. People
Yeah.
forgot about Mainstream, which is phenomenal. Like,
Mm,
don't be fooled by like the very low critic because it's like very low critically rated. So like in like the
okay.
30s on like Metacritic or something.
Right.
I love it. I think that is great. I think that Andrew Garfield phenomenal. I think that he deserves a nomination for that. Like I think that he gave 3 Oscar nomination worthy performances this year
Yeah.
with Tick Tick Boom, Tammy Faye, and Mainstream. Again, why did he not get nominated for Tammy Faye?
I
Like
don't know. I really don't know
it's so
why.
weird.
Like why it didn't even get pushed. That's
He only
my
got
like.
one nomination the entire season, and it was from
Yeah.
like the Utah Critics Group or something.
Like the thing is,
Like
if he missed out on the actual nomination, it would make sense because yeah, he's in for actor. It would be like Scarlett Johansson did it in 2019, but it's unlikely you would have seen him get in for both actor and supporting actor. But the fact that it didn't even get pushed is what just
right,
frustrates me.
yeah, I don't know. It's very very deserving, but yeah, I mean, I'd be much happier with the Oscars if it was Andrew Garfield and Kristen Stewart. Like, and again, Will Smith and Jessica Chastain, I don't think are bad. I don't mind those
No,
wins. Especially since Jessica Chastain looks, she's being really cool and she's like skipping like the red carpet and saying like if she wins, she's like going to like shout out like all the makeup and hair teams and stuff and like tell the Oscars
yeah,
they should have presented all 23, etc. So
yeah. I mean, I actually say they're probably my 2 second favorite in each of the categories.
Chastain's definitely my second favorite in actress behind Stewart. I would say Will Smith is actually my fourth. I would put
Okay,
both Cumberbatch and Denzel ahead of him.
yeah,
Um, I mean, better than Bardem, which isn't hard to do. But
no,
yeah, consider those, Academy. I know you're
yeah,
all watching. All right, let's round out the show by talking about Adrian Lin, Oscar nominated director and writer, I believe, for Fatal Attraction. He returned with a Hulu movie called Deepwater. And I think I think it's safe to say he's not getting any Oscar nominations. Not a
yeah,
glorious return to the Academy for this one. And I think he
no.
probably should have stayed retired.
Maybe he probably should have.
Um, because I think that this is one of the worst films of the year easily. I
Okay, I wouldn't go that far. I thought it was bad.
hated this.
I thought it was bad, but it had some, you know, I don't think the film itself had many redeeming qualities, but I do, however, think that like making a film like this felt different, and that's good. You know, I feel like this is a signifier that we like. Yes, it does feel like it was made in the 90s or 80s for that matter. But I mean, it was more fun than like a lot of blockbusters nowadays. It was fun in a way. Like, yes, it was bad. Yes, like even the performances by
Fun in
Ben
its
Affleck.
way because I laughed a lot at how bad Ben Affleck and Anna de Armas were.
Yes, they were bad, but it was. I guess like the plot itself was so ridiculous.
And
Um,
stupid.
it's a stupid, ridiculous film, but not one that is like aggressively bad. Like for a film, for me to hate a film, it's usually a couple of elements that I actively like really, really hate, or like just the overall like I don't get any enjoyment out of the film. For this, I mean, I'm saying all this, I'd still give it like a 3 or 4 out of 10, just to make that clear. I don't like this film, but I had more fun with this than I did have with, say, and this is going to be very controversial because the film is sitting on like 90% of Rotten Tomatoes at the moment. But I had more fun with this than I did with like Turning Red. And I
Wow.
know that's a very controversial statement, but I did. And like, I can't, I don't know what you want me to do about that. Yeah, I just thought, I mean, crime thrillers like these are ones that appeal to me anyway. They are a genre I quite enjoy. And I don't think this was a bad take on that whole plot. Like I thought the plot itself was actually fairly okay. It's just everything around it that just made it feel a little stupid, a little silly.
So, like, for instance, I think this is better. I do agree. I think it's better than like like I think it's better than like Uncharted or Moonfall or like the 355, three films from this year. Which I all thought were just actively terrible. Like, just because this, I don't know. I wasn't falling asleep, and
No,
probably for not the best reasons, but I was entertained. But no, like the narrative is inherently stupid. I don't know what Tracy Letts is doing in this.
no,
I I
yeah,
really I really don't understand what it was a bit odd.
yeah.
Um he's definitely doing something though. Yeah, but Ben Affleck and Anna de Armas were so like just dry.
Yes, yeah. That
Like,
that was just like especially since Ben Affleck has been on like an upwards trend, I
yeah.
guess to an extent. Like he was good in
And
Zack Snyder's
Anna de
Justice
Armas
League, he
is
was
like
good in The Way Back, he was good in
actually
like
good actress.
yeah. It, like that did feel a little disappointing. This to me reminded me a lot of The Woman in the Window last year. Like
Yeah.
a fairly acclaimed director with like I was fairly excited going in. It's had a good
Mhm.
cast. It had all
Yeah.
that. It was a crime thriller. It was a plot that should have appealed to me, and they just failed because
Yeah.
like they weren't very well made films.
Yeah, agreed. I Yeah, it's like this is just not a very well made film. Like the visual style is almost non-existent. Like it's just shot in such a bland way.
Mm,
The plot is really predictable, and it also doesn't feel like there's that much of like a climax. Like stuff just kind of happens as you'd expect. And considering the nature of the film, I was waiting for like something to happen. It's just like, oh no. So it was just what I expected the whole time. It's like, when we were the BAFTA nominations happened and we were looking at
mm,
original screenplay and we were like, oh, maybe worst person in the world could happen. Maybe they could do something interesting. Like, come on, maybe After Love
yeah,
shows up. And then as the nominations were revealed, and it was like Belfast, being the Ricardos,
yeah,
King Richard, don't like, and then we just realized, oh no, they just did
yeah.
exactly what we thought that they were going to do, and then it was the
I
Oscars that did
mean,
something weird. Like
that was a very weird allegory, but one that actually worked. Yeah,
it
I'll
makes
give you that.
go watch our BAFTA nominations reaction video from a couple of months ago, and watch our reaction to original screenplay. We think all this crazy stuff is going to happen, and
Yeah,
as it goes on, we're just like, oh no, it is
I
literally
don't know.
exactly what
Yeah,
we expected. And that's
yeah.
how I
And
felt with this.
actually, to further that allegory, like being Ricardo and King Richard got in, which like films that they should have been they shouldn't have been in there. And like you've got Ben Affleck and Anna de Armas, good actors. They shouldn't have been given bad performances. They just shouldn't
Right.
have.
Yeah. Yeah. Things that like are like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah,
Um yeah, I'm glad that that analogy actually worked.
yeah,
But yeah, it's just I don't know. I thought the performances were bad. The writing is just dull. The visual style is non-existent. At least I was entertained.
yeah.
Is all
Which
I
is
can
why I
really.
give it like a 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10 maybe.
Yeah, for me this is like a 2, maybe a 1.5.
Hmm.
Um I just yeah, it was just so meh.
Yeah. I'll point out as well. Turning Red is a better film than this.
Okay, good.
but
Yes.
but I
Uh,
gained more enjoyment out of it. That was the point I was trying to make. I gained more
okay.
active enjoyment out of watching this film than I did with Turning Red. But turning objectively speaking, like yes, Turning Red's a better film than this.
And I
I
would
just thought I'd
strongly
make that clear.
I found Turning Red vastly more enjoyable than this.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, awards potential, no,
Nope. Nope.
maybe
No.
Razzies for Ben Affleck and Anna de
Maybe.
Armas.
Maybe. Yeah, because they
Um,
gave a Razzie to Ben Affleck for The Last Duel when he was actually good in that film. So
yeah, yeah,
maybe they just have a thing about Ben Affleck, and yeah, I could see this picking up some Razzies for sure.
yeah. No, I feel like that I mean, the Woman in the Window was a film that did very well at the Razzies, or poorly. How do you
Yeah.
say? Does the film do well at the Razzies, or do?
That's a good question. I don't really
Uh,
know.
but yeah, it got a lot of nominations. I did the Razzies already happen?
They.
Remember
Oh,
too
I
hard
don't
yet.
know.
Amy
Uh,
Adams was definitely nominated though, and I think someone was nominated in supporting. So, like, I could see Razzie nominations. Also, worst screen couple makes a
yeah.
lot of sense, if we're
Huh.
talking about Razzie categories.
The Woman in the Window got the most nominations
Yeah,
out of anyone at the
yeah,
Razzies. Like, that is something.
which isn't entirely fair.
No,
Let's
because it got more than Space Jam and New Legacy, which
yeah,
is second on 4.
yeah, which
So
is
yeah,
a far worse film. But no, look out for this one to be a big player at the Razzies this year. The thing that we're all
yeah,
looking forward to.
yes,
But yeah, a 1.5. I'll say 1.5 for me. 3 for you.
3.5. I'll go
Three
with.
and a half. All right. Yeah, no, bad movie. Um
Yeah,
yeah, so there was also X and Cheaper by the Dozen this week. I watched Cheaper by the Dozen and I didn't like it, and you can check out my review on Letterboxd. And then X I will hopefully be seeing sometime later this week, and then next week. So Everything Everywhere All at Once releases, at least in the US. I'm not sure about the
yeah,
UK yet. And then Thomas will be able to talk about Ambulance,
yep.
new Michael Bay film. I will be able to talk about The Lost City, a film to which the director I don't know. So, but that is how reviews are going to be looking for next week. But Deepwater, definitely a miss from Adrian Lin, and you got your Oscar nomination. Go back to bed, Grandpa. All right, so that is the show.
Mm,
I've bullied Adrian Lin, and I think that's
yep.
a good note to end it on.
Okay, there we go.
So, yeah, I mean, ASC, WGA later today might do a thing for it. Next week's the Oscars. I don't know if we'll do an Oscar
Yes.
buzz because
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see. Like, I will definitely still do reviews. I don't know if there will be an Oscar buzz next week because, I mean, we'll be going
It's the
live with
Oscars.
our final. I know we'll be going live with our final Oscars predictions Saturday,
Okay.
day before the Oscars. And then we'll be watching along. I don't think we'll go live watching along for the Oscars. That will be an edited thing that comes out afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be watching those. That video will be out hopefully very quickly. And
Yeah.
then throughout the week, we have our ranking that we recorded a bit ago of our best animated features
We
rankings.
recorded that a very long time ago.
I'm probably gonna do a video ranking my best picture nominees. Now that I've seen all, and there's gonna be lots of stuff week after that. Early predictions for next year, lots of fun stuff. But until then, Thomas, where can everybody find you?
You can find me at YouTube at Payments Pictures and on Letterboxd at Thomas Gladstone.
All right, you can find me Twitter at TM Talks Movies, Letterboxd at Trevor Matson, YouTube. You can also find me at the Basement, where we are hosting the Basement Awards, also on Saturday.
Yes.
So I'm going to be live a lot on Saturday. So you can, after you watch our predictions, you can come over to the Basement Awards where we will be presenting our awards, which will be fun, and I'm looking forward to it. And we're making physical kitty statues, and they're going to be specialized to each winner, and you can bid on them if you would like to have one, if there's a winner that you particularly like. So that will be fun. And then I'm also on the Banana Meter, which is why I watched Deeper by the Dozen, and Thank you everybody so much for watching. Until next time, stay safe, everybody. Goodbye.